The Dragon Emperor's throne hall was built to break confidence. Black stone walls climbed high. Cold blue lines glowed under the floor. At the far end, the Dragon Emperor sat on a metal throne shaped like a closed jaw, wings folded tight eyes, calm and dangerous. A line of rulers and traders offered gifts, a chest of rare crystals. Rejected. A gold cage with a roaring beast. Rejected. Crown of star metal. Rejected. The word kept falling like a hammer. Everyone knew why. Gifts always carried a hidden price. Then the line broke. A small human girl stepped forward. Alone? She was thin, wearing a patched jacket and torn boots, hands stained with soot. She held something flat with both hands like it might snap. Paper guards lowered spears. Dragons shifted their wings. The air turned sharp. Korr, the Emperor's guard leader, strode down the steps. Stop. Humans do not approach the throne. The girl stopped 3 steps from the first stair. Her knees shook, but her voice did not crack. I'm not here to beg, she said. I'm here to say, thank you. A strange silence spread across the hall. The Emperor lifted one claw. The guards froze. Speak, he said. My name is Mira, the girl said. I live on Dock 9 of a scrap station called Brenron. Last cycle, your patrol ships passed. Our deck. Korr's eyes narrowed. Patrol ships do not waste time on scrap. They did, Mira said. We hid. We thought the deck would burn. We thought we would lose everything. But your ships turned away. We lived because someone chose not to crush us. A few nobles made small laughs. Mira did not look at them. People say dragons only destroy, she said. But that night, someone chose mercy. So I made this. She lifted the paper higher. Korr stepped forward. It could be poison. It's paper, Mira said. I traded for it. I made ink from soot and oil. There is no trick. The Emperor leaned forward a fraction. Bring it. Korr took the paper carefully and carried it up the steps. He offered it to the Emperor. The Emperor's fingers were sharp enough to cut steel, yet he held the card gently. He opened it. On the front was a simple drawing. The Emperor on his throne, the tall walls, the long floor. The lines were uneven. The shading was rough, but the face was the shock. Mira had drawn the Emperor with tired eyes. Not a monster, not a god, just someone tired. Inside, in messy but careful letters, were 3 words. Thank you, Emperor. The hall waited for laughter. 4. Fire. For punishment, none came. The Emperor lifted his gaze to Mira. Why? He asked. Mira swallowed. Because nobody thanks you, she said. They fear you. They flatter you. They lie to you. But they don't thank you. I wanted you to hear it once. Korr's jaw tightened. Majesty, humans are silent. The Emperor said. Korr froze. The court froze with him. The Emperor looked back down at the card. You want nothing in return? Mira shook her head fast. Nothing. From the side of the hall, Lady Sable, the Emperor's advisor, watched. With a smooth smile, her eyes did not look warm. They looked hungry. The Emperor folded the card once and placed it beside his throne, where everyone could see it. He kept it. A wave of whispers rose. Mira looked shocked, like she expected the world to punish her for being honest. Return to your station, the Emperor said. You will not be harmed. The guards escorted Mira out. She glanced back once. The Emperor was still staring at the card. That night, alone in his private chamber, the Emperor opened it again under a single dim light. He studied the drawing. He traced the letters with one claw tip, then his eyes moved. To the bottom corner, a tiny mark sat under a smear of ink. A small symbol, almost nothing. The Emperor's breath stopped. His throat tightened. For the first time in years, he felt fear not of enemies, but of hope. If Mira's symbol was real, the palace was already in danger. He knew that mark. It was a map sign from an old war he had buried centuries ago, and it pointed to something that was not supposed to exist anymore. Asterisk the next morning. The throne hall opened again. A noble from the outer rings rushed forward with a long black case. He bowed so low his forehead almost hit the floor. "My emperor," he said, voice shaking. "A peace gift. Star silk. No metal. Device. Safe." Kor, the guard leader, stood like a wall beside the throne. His hand was already near his blade. The Dragon Emperor did not smile. "Open it." The case clicked. Inside lay a thin cloth, dark and soft. It looked harmless. Too harmless. "Place it on the floor," the Emperor ordered. The noble obeyed. For one breath, nothing happened. Then hidden light flared inside the cloth. A high alarm screamed through the hall. Red warnings lit the walls. "Tracker, technician," yelled, "it is sending palace maps." Guards snapped into a ring. Nobles stumbled back. The noble went pale. "I didn't know, I swear." The Emperor rose. He did not roar. He simply picked up the cloth and crushed it in one claw. Sparks died. Between his fingers, the alarm cut off at once. Silence swallowed the hall. The Emperor stared at the noble. "This," he said, calm as ice, "is why I reject gifts." Kor leaned close to the noble and hissed, "Couriers don't make mistakes like this." The Emperor waved one claw. Guards dragged the noble away. Then the Emperor's gaze dropped to a small drawer beside the throne. He opened it and took out Mira's card, paper ink. A child's shaky lines. Yet in the corner was that tiny symbol. Kor watched him. Majesty. The human could be part of the trap. Or she could be the only honest thing that entered this hall in years, the Emperor replied. He looked down the steps. "Bring the human girl to the inner chamber. No harm." Lady Sable, the court advisor, stepped forward with a smooth smile. "Allow me to question her. Humans break fast." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "No." Minutes later, Mira stood in a smaller room under guard. The walls were warm and clean. Mira kept her hands visible. The Emperor placed the card on the table. Between them, "Tell me about this mark," he said, tapping the corner. Mira leaned forward. "I copied it." "From where?" "From an old book page," she said. "On Dock 9, it was half burned. People use it for heaters. I saved some pieces." Kor's eyes sharpened. "A book on a scrap deck?" Mira shrugged. "Scrap is full of lost things." The Emperor's voice stayed flat. "What did the pages show?" "Stars," Mira said. "Lines. Big words I can't read." But the mark looked important, like a sign. The Emperor held her gaze. "Did anyone tell you to draw it?" "No," Myra said quickly. "Nobody cares about paper. They care about food." Kor stepped in. "Majesty, we should scan her. Search her. This could still be a setup." Myra stiffened. "I didn't come here to hurt anyone." The Emperor raised a claw, stopping Kor without looking at him. He asked Mira, "Why did you make the card at all?" Mira swallowed. "Because your ships didn't burn our deck last month. Everyone said dragons only destroy. But someone chose not to. Wanted to say thank you." Once a long pause. Emperor's eyes moved to the drawing on the front. "You drew my eyes," he said. "Why?" Mira's voice dropped. "'Cause you look tired." Kor made a small sound, half laugh, half anger. The Emperor silenced him with a glance. For a moment, the Emperor said nothing. Then he spoke quieter than before. "You will stay inside the palace until I decide what this mark means." Myra's shoulders tightened. "Am I a prisoner?" "You are a risk," the Emperor said, "and so am I." He turned to Kor. "Double the guard on her door. Speaks to her without your approval." Lady Sable stood in the doorway, polite and calm. "As you command, Majesty." But her eyes did not look polite. That evening, in a silent corridor, Sable stopped at a wall panel that no servant knew about. A hidden screen flickered alive. She typed one short message to a private contact. "The mark is real. The human is here. Move tonight." The screen went dark across the palace. Mira sat alone in her safe room. Outside her door, 2 guards stood alert. Then the corridor lights blinked once. Twice, a soft click sounded like lock opening the wrong way, and the hallway went completely dark. The corridor lights died in one sharp blink. Two guards stood outside Mira's door. One hit the wall switch. Nothing. The air felt wrong, too quiet. A soft click came from the lock. The door opened a finger's width. "Girl," the first guard called. No answer. The second guard pushed the door wider, weapon raised. The room was dark, but untouched. The bed was empty. Sealed window was fine. Mira's food tray sat on the table, warm and waiting. "She's gone," the second guard whispered. The first guard slapped the alarm panel. Stayed dead. 7 seconds later, the corridor lights returned, calm and normal. Like the blackout never happened. That calm made it worse. KORR arrived first. One look at the dead alarm and the open door, and his face hardened. "Get the Emperor. Seal this corridor." Guards sprinted.
Metal doors.
Slid down at the hall ends. Servants froze where they stood. Warning chime. Tried to start, then died like it was being held shut. The Dragon Emperor arrived moments later. He stepped into the room and scanned it once. Clean. 2, clean. No struggle, Kor said. No blood, no broken lock. "Then whoever took her did not fear this palace," the Emperor replied. Kor's eyes went to the table. "The thank you card?" Spot was empty. The Emperor's gaze sharpened. "They took it." He touched a wall panel. Showed the corridor feed. Screen lit up. Footage rolled. 2 guards, quiet hall. Blue floor lights. Then darkness. When light returned, the door was closed again, and the guards stood stiff. Eyes open and empty. "A pulse," Kor muttered. "Something that freezes the mind." The Emperor paused the video at the instant the lights came back. A shadow crossed the far end of the corridor, too tall for a child, too thin for a dragon. It walked like it belonged there. Kor swallowed. Only palace-level clearance can cut lights and alarms that fast. They moved to the junction where vents began. Near a vent slot, something small glinted. Kor picked it up. A court crest. Black enamel, silver wing line. His voice went tight. "Lady Sable." As if summoned by the name, Lady Sable appeared at the corridor entrance. Her dress was perfect. Her smile was soft. "I felt a power flicker," she said. "Is something wrong?" Kor's hand went to his blade. The Emperor studied her face. If she was surprised, she hid it well. Her eyes flicked once to Mira's open door, then back to the Emperor, like nothing mattered. "A child is missing," the Emperor said. Sable's smile did not break. "How awful. I will help search." "Stay where you are," the Emperor replied. For the first time, Sable's smile slipped by a hair, then returned. The Emperor turned away. "Bring Captain Rook," he ordered. Rook arrived, breathless hands. "Raised, Majesty. I didn't touch the girl. I was in the guest bay." Kor stepped close. "Who can move inside this palace?" Rook shook his head. "Not humans. Gates scan blood and rank." This was an inside job. "Where's Brine Run Station?" Emperor asked. "Outer trade route," Rook said. "Scrap and fuel. Dock 9 is the poor deck." "Poor decks still hide lost things," the Emperor said, and turned away in his chamber. He opened a hidden drawer and pulled out a traced copy of Myra's card. Placed it under a warm heat lamp. Faint lines rose from the inclines Myra never drew. A star path. An old code sleeping inside. The paper Kor stared. That was inside it. The card was a key, the Emperor said. The route ended at a dark point marked in ancient symbols, Ash Orbit. Kor's voice went rough. "Ghost zone. No signals. No law." "Where secrets are buried?" the Emperor answered. He stared at the map until the lines felt carved into his mind. Then he looked up. "Lock the gates," he ordered. "No ship leaves. No message goes out." Kor nodded, then hesitated. "Majesty, are we accusing Lady Sable?" The Emperor's claws tightened. "I am accusing whoever stole a child under my roof." He turned to the palace window, where stars glittered like distant knives. Then he spoke words the court had not heard in years. "Prepare my warship." Kor froze. "Majesty, you never leave the throne." "Tonight," the Emperor said, voice low and final, "someone used my mercy as a weapon." His wings shifted once. "I am going to take that weapon back." Asterisk Mira woke up to warmth. Not the weak warmth of a scrap deck heater, but clean heat that came from hidden vents. The air smelled like soap, not rust. The bed under her was soft. Too soft. For a second, she wondered if she had died. Then she saw the walls. Smooth white panels. A small camera in the corner. A metal door with no handle on her side. A room that looked kind. It felt like a cage. Mira sat up fast. Her head hurt like she had slept through a storm. She touched her throat. No collar. No chain. But her hands were empty. The thank you card was gone. Her stomach sank. No, she whispered. A quiet speaker on the wall clicked. Good, you are awake. A woman's voice. Smooth, calm to calm. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Lady Sable stepped. In like she owned the air, her dress was dark and perfect. Her hair was pinned like a blade. Her smile was gentle, but it did not reach her eyes. In her hand, she held Mira's card. Mira's chest tightened. Give it back. Sable tilted her head, such confidence for an orphan. Mira slid to the edge of the bed. You took me. I moved you, Sable corrected, still smiling. The palace is noisy. Here we can talk. Mira stared at the card. Sable's fingers held it like it was worth more than gold. You said you wanted nothing. Sable went on. Yet you brought the only thing that made the Emperor's claws pause. I didn't plan that, Mira said. You just happened to draw a mark from a lost human archive. Sable's voice stayed sweet. That is a rare kind of luck. Mira's stomach turned. I didn't know it meant anything. Sable walked to a table and placed the card down like a queen placing a crown. Then I will teach you what it means. A wall screen lit up. Stars appeared. Lines. Old roots. Mira's eyes widened. She had seen rough drawings on the burned page, but not like this. Sable tapped the screen. This mark points to a place called Ash Orbit. Mira swallowed. I don't know that place. You don't need to, Sable said. The Emperor does. Mira clenched her fists. Why do you want it? Sable leaned closer. Her perfume smelled sharp, because the Emperor is a lock. I want what is behind him. Mira's voice shook. Is it treasure? Sable's smile turned smaller. Not treasure. Control. She clicked the screen. A word appeared in old. Language then translated vault. Mira breathed out. A vault? A human vault, Sable said. A lost storehouse of knowledge, codes, and proof. Something the galaxy would kill for. Something the Emperor hid long ago. Mira's throat went dry. I never wanted this. Sable sat across from her like this was a friendly visit. One is not important. Use is. Mira's heart started beating fast. What are you going to do? Sable lifted Mira's card and held it up. This card is bait. And the Emperor already swallowed it. Mira jumped up. Don't use me. Sable's voice stayed quiet, but the room felt colder. You are already being used, child. The only choice is by whom. Mira backed away until she felt the wall behind her. Sable's eyes flicked to the camera in the corner. You see, the Emperor cannot ignore you now. His pride will not allow it. His fear will not allow it. His guilt, she smiled, will not allow it. Mira's voice broke. He doesn't care about me. Sable laughed softly. He left the throne for you. He is moving his warship. Do you understand how rare that is? Mira froze. The Emperor leaving the throne? Sable's smile widened, satisfied like she loved watching fear grow. Yes, he is coming. Mira felt sick. This was her fault. Her small thank you had become a hook in a giant's mouth. Sable tapped the wall screen again. Another window opened live feed. A dark warship glided through space, sharp and silent. Its body looked like a blade made of night. Mira recognized the dragon crest on its side. The Emperor's ship. Sable leaned close and whispered, Now, when he arrives, you will do exactly what I say. Mira shook her head hard. No. Sable's smile vanished. The first time, her voice turned cold. Yes. She pointed to a second screen. It showed Dock 9 on Bryn Run Station Mira's home deck. people moving between scrap piles, children running. Myra's breath caught. How Sable's finger hovered over a red button. One message from me, and a fleet burns that deck. Mira's eyes filled with tears. Please. Sable's face stayed calm. Tell the Emperor where you found the book pages.
Oh.
Him you remember the route. Make him open the path to the vault. Mira's hand shook. I don't know it. Sable leaned back, relaxed again. Then you will learn very quickly. Outside, somewhere beyond the walls, metal thundered softly, the sound of a warship docking. Sable smiled again, gentle as poison. He's here. Mira stared at the door, heart pounding, because if the Dragon Emperor walked into this trap for her, then the whole empire was about to bleed. The docking bay shook when the Dragon Emperor's warship locked into place. Heavy doors sealed. Lights turned on in clean white rows. The air smelled like cold metal and fuel. Kor marched beside the Emperor, armor tight, eyes scanning every corner. Behind them, a squad of elite guards moved in silent steps. This is not a palace wing, Kor warned. The walls are too new. The signal is too clean. Someone built this space to hide. The Emperor did not slow down. She wanted me to come, he said. Kor's jaw tightened.
Oh.
Lady Sable wanted you to come. The Emperor's claws flexed. Once, same path, different reasons. A door opened ahead without a code. And that alone was a message. They entered a wide control hall. Screens covered one wall. Star charts, ship feeds, and security lines pulsed like veins. Lady Sable stood at the center like a queen waiting for her guests. Her hands were folded. Her face wore calm, and beside her, behind clear glass, Mira stood frozen. Her eyes met the Emperor's at once. She looked small in that bright room. Small and trapped, Kor stepped forward, blade half drawn. Release the child. Sable lifted a finger. One step closer and the station burns. A screen switched on above her. Dock 9 appeared Mira's home. People moved between scrap piles, unaware. A targeting circle hovered over the deck. Mira's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The Emperor's eyes did not leave Sable. You threaten civilians, he said, voice quiet. I threaten leverage, Sable replied. Civilians are only names until they become useful. Kor's voice turned sharp. You're a traitor, Sable smiled. I'm a realist. She lifted Mira's card. The paper looked wrong in her perfect hands.
Ah.
It's a little thank you. Note, Sable said, is a key. And you, Majesty, are the lock. The Emperor said nothing. Sable continued, slow and confident. Ash Orbit hides a human vault. I've searched for it for years. You hid it. You've protected it. You refused every gift because you feared being moved. Her eyes glinted. But a child's card moved you. Mira's shoulders shook. She stared. At the floor, like she hated herself for existing, the Emperor took one step forward. Kor grabbed his arm. Majesty, stop. She wants you to cross a line. The Emperor did not pull away. He simply looked at Kor. If I stop, the child dies. He faced Sable again. What do you want? Sable's smile widened. The route? The access code? The vault? I don't have it here, the Emperor said. You don't need it here. Sable tapped the screen. The star map shifted. Path appeared, ending at a dark dot. Open the path from your warship. Your systems still carry old war keys. Kor's voice dropped. Majesty. If the vault holds human knowledge, enemies will come. The Empire will become a battlefield. Sable nodded, pleased. Exactly. The Emperor stared at the map. For a moment, something old showed in his eyes. Memory, wait, regret. Then he looked at Mira. Mira pressed her palm against the glass. Her eyes begged him not to do it, but fear held her breath. The Emperor stepped closer to the glass until he stood directly in front of her. Mira whispered, voice thin, I'm sorry. The Emperor shook his head once. He said thank you. He replied softly, that was not a crime. Sable's smile sharpened. Enough. Choose. The Emperor turned back to Sable. Release her, and I will come with you. Dut. Kier snapped his head toward the Emperor. Majesty, the Emperor raised a claw, stopping him. I will trade myself, not the vault. Sable laughed. You cannot trade what I already have? Click to control. The floor beneath the Emperor's squad flashed blue. A silent pulse hit the room. Kor's soldiers froze mid-step. Eyes open, bodies locked. Their weapons slipped from fingers that could not close. Kor fought it, teeth clenched, knees shaking. Pulse. The Emperor staggered one step but did not fall. His power pushed back, slow and angry. Sable watched with admiration. Impressive. Even you can be slowed. She raised another control. Thick metal shutters slammed down over exits. The room sealed like a box. A new warning appeared on the wall screen. Oxygen level dropping. Mira slammed her fists against the glass. Stop. Please. Sable did not even look at her. Speak the access command, Majesty, she said, or everyone in this room suffocates. Kor forced one breath. Majesty, don't. The Emperor lifted his head, eyes burning now. He looked at Sable with pure cold. Then he said, clear. And final, you will not take it. Sable's smile vanished. Then you will all die here. Behind the glass, Myra's eyes widened as the air indicator fell again, and the Emperor realized the trap was not the vault. The trap was time. Asterisk the oxygen warning blinked again. Oxygen level, 72%. 71%. 70%. The air already felt thinner. Like the room was slowly turning into a sealed jar. Kor's men still stood frozen in the pulse field, eyes open, bodies locked. One guard's weapon slipped from numb fingers and clanged on the floor. Loud in the tight silence, Mira pressed her face close to the glass. Her breath made a small fog mark. Please, she whispered. Not to Sable, maybe, to the universe. Please don't die because of me. The Dragon Emperor did not look at the warning screen. He watched Lady Sable as if she were a problem he could solve with one clean move. Sable stood by the control table. Calm again, finger resting on a panel like it was a pet. Your time is draining, she said. Just like the air. Kor forced his legs to move one step, then another, fighting the pulse. His jaw shook from effort. Majesty, she's playing you. She wants you to open Ash Orbit. The Emperor's voice stayed steady. I know. Sable's eyes narrowed. Then obey. Mira's throat tightened. She realized Sable was not just threatening Doc 9 anymore. She was willing to kill everyone in this room, too. Myra looked around her side of the glass. The room she stood in was small, bright, and too clean. A camera blinked above her. No door handle. No obvious lock she could reach, but there was a wall panel near the floor thin. It's badly aligned, like someone installed it in a hurry. Mira's mind grabbed onto it like a rope. Scrap deck life taught her one rule. If something is sealed, it has a seam. She crouched and ran her fingers along the panel edge. Tiny gap, enough for a thin tool. She had no tool. She glanced at the bed. The sheet corner had a metal clip holding it tight. Myra yanked it free. The clip bent, but did not break. Ouch. She shaped it with her fingers until it became a crude hook. Her hands trembled, not because she was weak, because she was scared and still. Moving outside the glass, Sable talked like she was already winning. Majesty, speak the access phrase. You remember it. Old war keys, never leave your blood. Kor coughed, a rough sound. Don't. Sable pressed another button. Oxygen level, 66%. 65%. Mira shoved the metal hook into the seam. It slipped. She tried again, harder. Her nails tore a little. She did not stop. A soft click. The panel shifted a hair. Mira pulled. The panel came loose, revealing wires and a narrow maintenance duct behind it. She stared at the duct like it was a miracle. Then she heard a louder sound from outside the glass. Kor's boots scraping as he forced himself forward again. The Emperor's posture changed. His wings flexed slightly, the way a storm flexes before breaking. Sable lifted her hand. Last chance, she said. Open Ash Orbit. The Emperor's eyes turned darker. "You think you understand me?" he said.
How?
"You don't." He took one step toward, the pulse field toward his frozen guard's hand, slammed one claw into the floor. A shockwave rolled out. Not bright, not loud, just heavy. Like gravity shifted for one heartbeat. The pulse field flickered. 2 guards gasped and moved again. Falling to one knee, Kor's eyes widened. "Majesty, get them out of the field," the Emperor ordered. Sable's calm broke. "Stop that." She slammed her palm on the control table. The pulse spiked. Kor's body locked again, but the Emperor didn't fully freeze. His power fought it. His breath stayed slow. Mira realized something. Sable's system was strong, but it was not perfect. It needed control. It needed timing, and Mira could ruin timing. She climbed into the maintenance duct, dragging the loose panel behind her to hide the opening. The duct was tight and dusty. It smelled like metal and old air. She crawled forward, following the faint hum of machines. A glow appeared ahead through a grated vent. Sable's control table room. Myra's heart hammered. She was above them. She looked down through the grate. Sable stood at the table. The Emperor stood in the pulse field, fighting. Kor was trapped in place, jaw clenched. Mira saw a thick cable line running from the control table into the wall power. Feed. Scrap deck rule number 2. If you can't fight the boss, break the power. Mira yanked the metal clip from her pocket and jammed it into the cable connector through a small gap in the grate. Sparks snapped. The lights flickered. Sable's head snapped up. "What?" The pulse field stuttered. Kor dropped to one knee. Free for a moment. The oxygen warning glitched. Numbers skipping. Mira pushed the clip. Deeper. More sparks. The room lights cut out completely. Darkness slammed down like a door. And in the dark, the Dragon Emperor's voice came, low and dangerous. "Now." Darkness held the control hall like a fist. For one heartbeat, nobody moved. Then red emergency strips lit along the floor, thin and weak. The oxygen warning blinked back on, broken and jumping. Oxygen level, 61%, 64%, 59%. Lady Sable's voice cut through the dark. "Fix it now." She slapped the control table, but the screen only flickered. The pulse field was gone. Her power was gone, and the Dragon Emperor was finally moving freely. He stepped forward, silent and fast, like he had been waiting for that one word. Now his whole life, Kor dragged in a hard breath and pushed himself up from one knee. He signaled his guards with 2 sharp motions. "Move, secure exits." 2 guards rushed to the shutters and started manual release. Others grabbed weapons off the floor. Sable backed away from the Emperor, still trying to look calm. "Majesty," she said, voice smooth again. "You can still be wise. You can still." The Emperor's eyes glowed faintly in the red light. "You used a child," he said. "You threatened civilians. Sealed air." Sable lifted her chin. "Protected. The Empire from weakness?" "You've protected yourself," the Emperor replied. He reached her in 2 steps and caught her wrist before she could touch any hidden switch. Her hand jerked, and a small device slipped from her palm and clattered onto the floor. Mira heard it. From inside the duct above, the sound gave her a direction. She crawled back to the vent grate and looked down. The Emperor had Sable pinned against the table with one claw on her wrist knot, crushing. Just locking. KORR rushed in and seized Sable's other arm. "Bind her," he ordered. Sable laughed once. Low. Too late. Kor's face tightened. "What did you do?" Sable's eyes flicked to the dropped device on the floor. A tiny light on it blinked green. The Emperor looked down at it, then back at her. "A transmitter." Sable's smile returned, thin as a blade. "A dead man message." The moment the lights went out, it sent. Mira's stomach dropped. Kor snatched the device, crushed it under his boot. "Where did it send?" Sable shrugged. "As much as the Emperor's grip allowed. To anyone hungry enough to pay attention." The shutters finally released with a groan. Fresh air rushed in from the dock corridor. The oxygen warning climbed slowly. Oxygen level, 63%, 67%. 72% Mira's lungs stopped burning as much. But fear stayed heavy in her chest. She pushed the duct panel and slipped out, landing softly in the corner. No one noticed at first. Then the Emperor's head turned slightly. He always noticed Mira froze. Her hands were black with dust. Her face was pale. The Emperor's voice softened just a little. Mira, she took one step forward. I broke. The power, she said fast, like she needed to confess before someone accused her. I didn't know if it would help. Kor stared at her, shocked. You crawled in the duct. Mira nodded. I had to. For a second, the room was silent, except for the hiss of returning air. Then the Emperor did something nobody expected. He lowered his claw from Sable's wrist and placed it gently on Mira's shoulder. One careful touch, controlled and light. You chose action, he said. That saved lives. Mira's eyes stung. She blinked hard and looked away. Kor pulled Sable back and snapped cuffs onto her wrists. You're under arrest for treason. Sable did not fight. She only watched the Emperor and Mira like they were pieces on a board. Arrest me, she said. It doesn't change what's coming. An alarm suddenly wailed from the dock control wall. Not a local alarm, a space alert. A technician ran in, shaking. Majesty. Multiple jump signatures. Long range. Near Ash orbit. Kor's blood went cold. How many? The technician swallowed. Too many. The Emperor's face went still. That stillness was not fear. It was decision, they heard. The scent, he said. Mira frowned. The scent. Sable smiled wider. Proud now. The scent of a secret. The galaxy doesn't need proof, Majesty. They only need a rumor. Kor leaned close to the Emperor. If fleets come, they'll smash. Stations first. Brinran is on the route. Mira's heart slammed. Dock 9. The Emperor turned to Kor. Send a warning to Brinran. Full evacuation. Now, Kor hesitated. Majesty, if we broadcast, the Emperor repeated. Sharper. Let them know we are not sleeping. Kor nodded and sprinted out. The Emperor looked at Mira. You copied a mark, he said. But you did not create the war. Mira's voice shook. People will die because of the vault. Sable cut in, sweet again. They will die because the vault is power. The Emperor's eyes narrowed at her. No, he reached to the table, where Mira's thank you card lay smudged, corner bent, but still intact. He handed it to Mira. Open it, he said. Mira opened the card with shaking fingers. Under the red emergency light, the ink looked darker than before. The Emperor pointed. Hold it near the heat vent. Mira did. Slowly. Faint hidden lines appeared beneath the drawing like a second message waking up. Mira's breath caught as words formed, thin and secret under her own thank you. If you read this, you are ready. Mira stared, confused and scared. Ready for what? The Emperor looked past her, toward the hangar doors, toward the stars beyond the metal walls. Ready, he said, voice low, to defend what they want. To steal. Outside, far in space, the first enemy ship slipped out of jump-silent lights in the dark, and the sky began to fill. The first enemy fleet appeared like a shadow spreading across space, then a second, then more ships with different flags. Different shapes, different engines, all moving toward the same place, Ash orbit. The palace sensors screamed. The court channels exploded with panic. Messages flooded in from border posts and trade lanes. Everyone had heard the same. Rumor. The Dragon Emperor hit a human vault. In the main command bay, the Dragon Emperor stood still as the storm grew. Kor returned from the cum room, face tight. Brinran received the warning, Kor said. They are evacuating Dock 9, but the fleets are moving fast. Mira held the thank you card with both hands. The paper felt small and weak against the sound of war. This is my fault, she whispered. The Emperor looked down at her. No, he said. This is their choice. On a wall screen, enemy ships formed a wide net in space, trying to cut off routes. They weren't just coming to fight. They were coming to take KORR, leaned closer. Majesty, the court will demand you hide. They will demand we close the gates. The gates won't save civilians, the emperor replied. He turned and walked to the center console. Technicians stepped back like they could feel the weight around him. Then he did. Something the empire had not seen in generations. He opened a broadcast channel wide and public. All frequencies, he ordered. A red light blinked. Live. The emperor lifted Myra's card, holding it in front of the main camera. Paper in a claw that could crush steel. He spoke to the entire galaxy. You came because you smelled a secret. His voice carried calm and sharp. You came because you believe humans are weak, and their history is a prize. He raised the card slightly. This is not a weapon. This is not a deal. This is 3 words from a child who owed me nothing. The enemy commanders appeared on screen feeds. Laughing, taunting, trying to sound brave, the emperor ignored them. You want the vault? He continued. Then, hear the truth. The vault is a library. A record of human minds. A place built to survive greed. He looked into the camera. And if you touch one human shelter on your path, I will burn your fleets until your flags become dust. Silence hit the channels. Not P-shock. Core watched the enemy feeds. Some commanders paused. Some did not. One signal cut through, cold and proud. Dragon Emperor, you cannot protect them forever. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Watch. He ended the broadcast and turned to his command team. Form the shield line, he ordered. Protect Brinrun's evacuation lane first. Then hold the orbit ring. Core nodded hard. Yes, Majesty. Mira stepped forward, voice shaking but clear. Let humans help. Few dragon officers scoffed. Mira held up the card. This started with a human voice, she said. Let it end with humans standing too. The Emperor's gaze moved across the room. Captain Rook, he said. Rook stepped out from the side, face pale but determined. Majesty, bring every human ship you trust, the Emperor ordered. Not for glory, for rescue. Rook swallowed, then nodded. Yes. Minutes later, the warship launched with a deep metallic roar. Dragon escorts formed a hard spear around it. On the side screens, small human craft began to gather scrap built, patched. But moving with purpose, enemy ships fired first. A wave of bright beams cut toward the evacuation lane. The Emperor's fleet moved like a wall. Shields flared. Space lit up. KORR shouted orders. Right wing hold. Left wing cover the human ships. Mira gripped the rail as the command bay shook. Her heart hammered, but she did not run. She watched a human transport nearly get hit, then a dragon escort slid in front. Taking the blast on its shield, she watched a dragon fighter spin out. Then a human tug drone latched on and pulled it back to safety. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean, but it was real. The enemy net tightened. Trying to box them in, the Emperor waited. Then he gave one calm command. Now. Dragon ships opened hidden side arrays, not weapon signal mirrors. They flashed the Emperor's earlier broadcast across all channels again. But this time with live footage of enemy shots aimed at civilian lanes. The galaxy saw it. No speech, no rumor, just proof. Some enemy ships hesitated. A few turned away. Not all. The most greedy fleet pushed forward anyway. The Emperor's voice stayed low. Then they chose. He led the spearhead directly into their line, breaking their formation with sharp turns and tight timing. Core's fighters struck key engines, stabling rather than slaughtering when they could. The battle lasted long minutes that felt like hours. Finally, the evacuation lane cleared. Brinrun's Dock 9 ships reached safespace. KORR exhaled, shaking. Civilians are out. Ira's knees nearly gave out. She closed her eyes for 1 second. When she opened them, the Emperor was watching the stars. Sable, bound and silent in a corner with guards, stared at the screens as her plan fell apart. The Emperor turned back to the command bay. Return, he ordered. We rebuild the shield line. We protect the border. We do not hunt. We defend. Later, after the alarms calmed, The emperor walked into the throne hall again. He placed Mira's thank you card inside a clear case near the throne, where every ruler and traitor could see it. Then he faced the court. "This," he said, pointing to the card, "is the only gift I will honor." He looked at Mira, standing small but steady beside Kor. "You are not a prisoner," he told her. "You are a voice." Mira swallowed. "Do you still hate gifts?" The emperor's eyes softened, just enough to change the room. "I hate traps," he said. "I will never reject truth again." And for the first time, the empire understood. A simple thank you was stronger than fear.